Welcome. We are going to see what we call database connection in PHP. We have different ways of connecting to database. Can use MySQL object, can use MySQL connect, can use what we call PDO. In this video, we are going to see database connection using MySQL object. Let us start. To make connection to database, you need at least 3 tools. Number 1, you need browser. Can use Chrome, can use browser like Opera Mini, you can use Mozilla Firefox or any other browser. Now in this video we are going to use Chrome. This is the tool number 1, browser. Tool number 2 is text editor. Can use Visual Studio Code, can use Notepad or any other text editor. In this video we are going to use Sublime. This one. Yeah, the Sublime. We are going to use what we call Sublime. This one. This is Sublime as text editor. Now, the third tool is local server. In this video we are going to use XAMPP server. Yeah. Means to connect to database, you need a local server application. Can use XAMPP, can use WAMP, but now in this video we are going to use XAMPP server. Okay, those are the 3 tools needed for connecting to the database. We have Sublime as text editor. This one we have here Sublime as text editor, have Google Chrome as a browser, and the XAMPP server. XAMPP server is allowing your computer to work as a server. Then the browser is for testing the connection. The text editor is for writing the code. Okay? Yeah. Now, we are going to start by server configuration. Before you start, you make sure Apache server is working. This is the server, and MySQL is working, the database we are working on. Next, after starting the server in the MySQL, you have to go in localhost slash and press enter. Now you have to open my PHP my admin for database configuration. This is MySQL. This is PHP my admin. Those are in database for my PHP my admin. We have aggregate, discipline, information scheme, MySQL, MyStore, performance scheme, my PHP my admin, school, test, and this one. Aggregate information scheme, MySQL, performance scheme, PHP my admin, test are the default databases. Means maybe on your computer you cannot find discipline database, cannot find my store, cannot find school. Those are databases created after installation of XAMPP. Now we're going to connect, for example, to school. This is the school. I'm in school. We have a student, but before we connect, we are going to see what we call now here. We have to create a file for database connection. Now we have to save the file. Here file must be stored in XAMPP. My XAMPP is located on C, XAMPP, htdocs. Then I am going to create a file, a folder, called db connection. Then you have to write the name of the file. It is db connection.php. Let us call it db.php, and it must be stored in db connection. Now we have to save the file. Then the file is saved. Now we are going to write code. Okay, we have $php, the opening tag. Now we have closing tag. Inside opening and closing tag, we are going to write codes for database connection. To make connection to database, you need about 4 variables. You need a server. By default here, server is localhost. This is pointing to your local computer, but you can use server as the IP address pointing to 127.0.0.1. This is the IP address for local computer. Now, the next variable is the user or username. This is the server name, then this is the name of user, the username for that server. Here, the username by default is root. Now, the third parameter is password. Can call it with any name. Then by default, the password is empty, and by default, a local user for username called root, the default password is empty. Now we are going to the fourth one is the database name or DB name, what you can call it in a name. Then here we are going to connect to database. I hope everyone is able to create database. We are going to connect for school. Okay, school. The database is school. Now, those are 4 parameters needed for making a database connection. Now, the third is the variable for holding connection. Connection is equal to my. We are going to use MySQL object. Means we shall use MySQL constructor. Means it is new MySQL I. Then we open bracket. You can use MySQL this one or MySQL I depending on the version of your PHP or my version of MySQL, but the latest version of MySQL support MySQL I, not MySQL. Now it receives all of those 4 parameters. It receives the server, then username, then password, then DB name. Then this is the variable holding connection. Now, this is the connection. You can check whether there is any error for your connection by using if, then connection is pointing to connect. To check the error, you use connect error. And if there is any error, you have to stop the execution and display this message. Connection failed, but you can display any message. Now for else, in case there is no error, can say what will be displayed is connected, then semicolon. Okay, those are code for connecting to database. Now we are going to verify the connection using browser. Here you write localhost slash the project containing is dot where db connection. Yeah, it's called the db connection. Php is db connection slash db connect means database connection is properly working. In our code, local server is an localhost to the address pointing to the computer. Of course, this can work. Sorry, isn't have semicolon here. Each line in PHP must end with semicolon. Then if you refresh, you see server is connected. Now we are going to connect to the host, which is not the local computer. The requirement for this connection is the configuration of the IP address different to this one in PHP code and in PHP my admin. Okay, we are going to start by configuration of IP address. You have to make sure that your computer is connected to network. Let us start. Open the command prompt, then you write ipconfig space/or, then you hit enter. Then the IP address is this is the IP address. This is the gateway. This is the server. The IP address is this one. Now you copy, then you paste it here as the host or server. This localhost is not necessary. Yeah, this is the host or server. Now we are going to configure it on PHP my admin in user by clicking on privilege, then new user, then here you write the user, it is my host. For example, this is the username, then the IP address is the host, then here the password we are going to generate it by random. This is the password, then you copy this and paste it in password. Then this user, my host, is going to be the username. Then you're going to create the database with the same name. Means the database will be, okay, let us select all of them. Database with the same name will be created. Yeah. By default, the database with the name corresponding to the user will be created for this user. Now you have to grant all privilege, then as or the username is this, it is in code, then the host, this one is this one, then the password is this one, is written here, then database will be my host, again the same name, but the connection will be done in the same way. It is the connection with MySQL constructor, new MySQL with four parameters: server or host, username, password, and the database name. Then if there is any error, connection will fail, otherwise it will display connected. That's all. Now, before we test the connection, we have to save this one. Okay, you have added the new user. If you click on user account, the user is here, my host with the IP address. Yeah, means this user will be accessible to all computers connected to the same network with the server. Okay, now we are going to test the connection by writing local host /db connection /db.php. But this IP address, instead of using localhost here, you have to use the IP address corresponding to your host. See, is connected. As I said, this host can be accessible to all devices connected to the same network. Now, I have telephone connected on the same network as the network of my computer. Now, I'm going to test the same connection using the browser for this telephone. Okay, it is connected. Now, those are code for connecting to another server or another host, which is not a local computer. The change is here. For server or host, you have to point to the IP address of computer working as a server instead of using the IP address of local computer. To check or to configure this IP address, you have to go in the command prompt, then you, by typing IP config / or, we will be able to see the IP address of your server. For your computer working as a server, then this IP address will be configured in PHP code for database connection and in PHP myadmin for as the host for the user. Then the database and this host will be accessible to all computers connected to the same network as the network of the computer working as a server. Okay, thank you. We shall look on how to use the create the connection to perform all CRUD operations.